Broadcasting from the UK and across the world online. You're now watching The Moore Show, and I'm your host, Kevin Moore. Now, for the next hour, I'll be covering subjects that will open up your mind and provide you with information you may have never heard before. Now, on today's show, I'm about to be joined by my guest, Yaz Star. Now, Yaz joins me from Manchester to discuss her near-death experience and much more. Yaz Star, welcome to the show.
Hello there.
It's great to have you on, yes. It's great to have you on. I've got to know you over these past couple of weeks just a little bit. We was going to do this interview, right, on location, because right now you're based in Manchester.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just wasn't supposed to be for me, and I just knew I had to do this interview with you. And you know, of course, when this is being taped right now, obviously the Manchester bombings yesterday, the day before at the arena. So yeah, I was in Manchester yesterday having a meeting about a channeling event that I'm putting on next year in the UK, and it was I just thought it's time to spread some light. Time to do something positive, and that's exactly what you're able to do as well. And we're going to get into some of the gifts that you've got, and I just want to get into your story straight away because it is a very interesting story. Just now, you had a near-death experience, okay?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
When I was 21.
20.
Just on the subject of all these so-called disasters, well, they are disasters that are happening. Strangely, when things were happening in France, I happened to be there. Then something happened at Westminster, and I happened to go there a week after it had happened. And then now I'm in Manchester, and this thing, and it's just like, I think, people are, although you can't afford to get into the fear, you just got to, no matter where you find yourself, no matter what's going on, you really have to just be as peaceful inside as you can and think really positive thoughts no matter what is going on. And I think having the near-death experience, it really taught me that.
Yeah.
That life is incredibly painful for all of us. Nobody gets out of everyone's suffering in so many ways, but we because of the near-death experience, so I was literally out of my body looking down. Well, I don't know if it's down or up or left or right, but you're looking at the world.
Absolutely. And we're going to get into that, right? We really are. And it's funny what you just said. So when the attacks happened in Paris, you was over in Paris as well when the attacks, was it that last year or?
Yeah, well, last year, I mean, I wasn't actually in Paris. I was down in the south, but all this stuff was going on in France.
Yes, it was.
And I was alone in a house and thinking a lot of stuff. But, really, my fear, even though I've had a near-death experience, my fear still comes up big time, and I have to really handle it.
Okay, you do, and I'm going to bring this all into a big circle here just very soon. This is very interesting. So, okay, prior to your near-death experience, you said you was 21 when you had the near-death experience. Okay,
yeah.
So, what was going on prior to 21? What was Yaz up to?
Well, what was I up to? Well, I had a baby when I was 20. Actually, I just turned 21 when I had my baby. So my son, who's now holy cow, well, he'll be 40 this year. Okay, time's flown by. You always feel like you're still 21, no matter how old you get. But yeah, so I was really just being a mum. I had part-time job. I was plodding along through life. I had a partner, and then I just had this near-death experience because I had a miscarriage. So I ended up in the hospital.
Right.
And
okay. But before we get to that part, though, okay. No, that okay. So okay. So you'd lived a lot of life by the age of 21, basically.
Yeah.
especially being a mother as well. That will
Yeah.
soon bring you out of yourself, won't it? And smack bang into present moment as well. And what was there any sort of religious context there? Was there any sort of spiritual context? I mean, no.
Well, oh well, yeah. I mean, I was always. People used to say that I was a highly. Well, in fact, they used to say you're an over imaginative child, and because I used to tell people that I could see fairies in the flowers and or sky going beings, if you don't mind, up in the night sky. Yeah, I used to. Because I went to Sunday school, I think I was about 5, and they started telling us about Jesus, and I got this. Oh, because my father actually left when I was 5, so I kind of adopted Jesus as a dad for a kid, So I used to say little prayers. I had my titties in bed with me at night because I was petrified of the dark.
Right. Right. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely terrified of it. Actually, right up until I was 40. How's that? I mean, I'm only what? That's 20 years ago because I'm going to be 60 soon. But yeah, so I was always scared of the dark my whole life, and so yeah, I used to pray at night, and like every night, religiously. We weren't a religious family though. We were just like, I
Yeah.
think my mum believes in God, but I don't. She never talks about anything like that.
And were you based in New Zealand at the time, or were you based in the UK, or
No, yeah, in London.
in London?
Yeah, I grew up in London and
Right. Okay.
actually emigrated when I was just before my 29th birthday
We'll
to
get it.
Australia.
We'll get into that as well. We'll get into that as well. So
Uh,
why do you now you can look back and well, whether you've pondered this question or not, why do you think you had that near death experience at 21? Why was life trying to shake you up at 21 and bring you into the understanding that there's a greater reality? Just before we get into what happened on the near death experience.
well, I really think, hmm, what do I think? What do I really think? Ever since I was born, I was a strange little kid. I mean, I've got there's 4 of us. And then when I was 10, we got another 3 because my mum remarried. And so it was always like loads of us kids everywhere. And I always felt odd, like the odd one out. I was always like really spiritual and at school. And, you know, uh, I was just a real strange kid. I don't know. My mum thinks she banged me on the head or something. But I've never really been able to talk to any members of my family about what goes on in my mind, because all they say to you when you talk about anything that's otherworldly is that you're crazy. So I just think that I had the near-death experience in order to confirm that I wasn't crazy to myself, because I used to worry about myself not being like other people, not believing in all the stuff that people say, this is this way or this is that way. I was always like, oh, I don't know. Well, they could be right, but they could be wrong. I always found it really hard to take sides or agree. So
Yeah,
half the time you can't speak because you're just coming from a different place in the middle.
that's
So
tough. That's tough.
and it's still a bit like that, really, because I listen to people and they're like, "Oh, I think this," and I go, "Well, yeah, there's more to it," and they go, "No, there isn't," and I go, "Okay, righto." I can't, I'm trying to write a book, and
Yes.
I've been trying to do this for years to explain myself to myself, really, and or anyone else that might be interested. But I've got this squeaky stool. Sorry.
It's okay. Don't worry. You squeak away. It's all right. Well, that book, it will happen, and it will help a lot of people. I'm sure it will do. You telling your truth, your story will help other people. It'll resonate with people on the same path. You'll pull the same people in resonation, in alignment, in energy to you, that are on the same path, that need the help that the book's going to give when it does. When you do get it published, right? When you get it out, but yeah. Um,
Yeah.
okay, so let's go straight to the near-death experience. So what actually happened prior to the near-death experience, and just lead us into the story of the near-death experience as well.
Yeah. Well, on the other hand, as a child, so I grew up in an awful lot of fear. The people were arguing and all sorts. I was left alone. It wasn't like today. Somebody runs around and reports people. Back in the day, you could do whatever you like, stay out all night, leave your kids, and So, and also I experienced a lot of violence in the family home as well, and especially when my mother remarried, and that was so I had a lot of fear, but I also had this other side, this kind of otherworldly experience. And so when I was 21, I obviously my son was coming up to 1 year old, and so he was in a little pushchair, and somebody stole that actually. Somebody stole my pushchair, made my life incredibly difficult. But anyway, and yeah, I was pregnant, and I miscarried this baby at 5 months pregnant. You see, so it was quite a big deal, and I was in the hospital, and overnight, unbeknownst to the nurses or anybody, I mean, they didn't have your monitors and all this, I mean, it's a different world today. So I was just sleeping all night long, bleeding to death internally,
Wow.
and nobody knew. So they came to get me in the morning and said, "Okay, come, can you just hop up and come with us, and we're just going to go and take you for a checkup." And on the way, I started to pass out, and I'm like I've never fainted in my life before. So I was in this knowing that, oh my God, I'm fainting, and
Right.
I fell backwards, and I just felt like I never actually hit the ground. I just felt myself kind of reeling slowly backwards, and I literally felt myself kind of plop. Plop is the wrong word, but it's kind of a bloop out of my. Do you remember those hippie lamps from years ago with all the moving
Yes.
stuff?
Yes.
It's kind of like the globby stuff in it what popped out, and that was me. And I was just flying backwards through space, and I could see all these stars and the planets, and I went right up past Saturn. I remember it because the rings, and I just knew because as a kid, I looked at everything that was available: astrology, astronomy. I get them mixed up, but yeah, I looked at all sorts of stuff, and so because we didn't have telly and we didn't have computers, so we had dictionaries and encyclopedias and stuff like that, and yeah, and I was out there in space, and I was laughing, and I was like, oh my God, if anybody knew what this was like out here, they'd never believe me if I told them. No one's going to believe that I have seen all of space and the planet Earth, like an astronaut. And then I heard someone calling my name, and suddenly I was back in the world, as it were, and I was on the ceiling in the hospital above my body, and these two nurses, and and they were wearing those little head white clip-on things that nurses used to wear,
Yep. Yep.
and their uniforms with belts. They had white belts, and um, yeah, I remember all of that, and they were going, shaking me and trying to stick things in me, and I was just looking at them, going, "No, no, don't, just leave me alone. I'm not coming back. That's not me. That body is not. I had no relation to that body laying there. I just knew it was just nothing to do with who I am. And I was really sad, and it still makes me really upset when I think about it, because I was so sad that those nurses, those two women, didn't know that I was there, and they didn't know that their real self also was not contained, was nothing to do with that body. Um, Obviously, we are to do with these bodies, but while we're in here, but
Yes.
once you've gone, you're not interested in it at all. It was just like, and when I came back, and I still do it sometimes, I just rub my arms and I go, oh my God, look, I'm in this body. Really funny, but yeah. And then I just wanted to get away and never come back. And although I loved my son, I had this baby and adored him, and various friends and people that I knew and cared about, but nothing compared, nothing compared to the state I was in, this freedom, this. I was actually, for the first time in my life, I was actually my real self, and it was just so incredible to feel so free. And I looked around, and there was a window open. It was only open about like that much, about 6 inches. And I just thought, I wonder if I can get out there. And suddenly I was out straight
Wow.
away. I started to try and fly towards it, or I couldn't figure out if I was flying because I didn't feel like I was. There was no experience of gravity or anything like that. And bang, I was outside, but I wasn't outside. I was. I expected to literally be outside the hospital, above the car park, but I wasn't. I was outside in the golden light, and I don't know if I've ever heard of anyone seeing this in a near-death experience, and I have been researching it for quite a long time, reading all these stories. There's some beautiful stories out there, but yeah, I was just in this absolute pure golden light, and it was like being inside the sun. Only it's not hot, it's not cold, it's just fuzzy golden light. And but in this light, I just knew so much of everything. I knew. How can I explain it? Makes me. I start sort of getting all.
It's all good. It's all good. Yeah, yeah, it's all good.
Yeah. It it's love, but love doesn't describe it. Love's only a little four-letter word. It's this beautiful, beautiful love, and everything is made of it, and everything is it, and there is nothing but that love, and we are merely little tiny expressions of this love. And I was so ashamed when I was in that golden loving light, that I hadn't realized this while I was in my human body. And I was so disappointed. And then I was like, well, how come they're not teaching us this when we're children? Why don't we all know who we are? People are running around, I just saw the whole of the world, people not realizing their own true self, and that there's nothing to be afraid of. People keep generating fearful things on earth, but actually that's not their real self. Their real self is the most beautiful expression, the most incredible design, the most, it's just a marvelous, marvelous piece of creation. And yet we are so unaware of that. And even coming back to my body, I became, it is, I still have to remind myself constantly not to get into the mundane thinking, I mean, none of us are perfect. We can't. It's not possible to be perfect in the world. It's not possible. It's like there is no actual perfection in material world, but we can always move towards it. We are constantly moving. Everything is in constant motion. So we can always be directing ourselves towards better behavior, thinking, and actions. But at the same time, try somehow not to beat ourselves up, because a lot of all the judgments and everything that we have are coming from our own self. And all the pain is actually coming from within us. And it's so hard to explain how that works.
And now you can learn her method by going directly to dolorescannon.com. And don't forget to mention the discount code MORETALKS. Hi guys, my name's Kevin Moore and I'm the host of The Moore Show. Now it's my purpose, my passion, my mission to help you guys become your greatest version. Now you might be looking to find answers on love, connecting with your life's purpose, reuniting with a loved one on the other side, discovering your past lives, or just helping you make sense in finding your direction. Now, as a multi-dimensional channel, I can connect with higher aspects of yourself to help you in this present moment to become your best version and live your most empowered life. Now, you can book myself for a reading by going to tmspsychics.com/Kevin, or you can get a reading from one of my many gifted team of readers. The Moore Show Psychics, helping you transform your present moment to the most loving and happiest it can be. Now, I also offer a full money back guarantee, so what have you got to lose? Empower your life today. Because some of us, don't we? We feel that, by going back there, it's going to be easier than being here. Here is so difficult. Why do I want to be here if over there is so easy? Is it that easy over there? I wonder, if you were to commit suicide for the pain that you're in right now for being here, is it that easier over there? Yes, we've described unconditional love there, and that's just one experience of an unimaginable infinite number of experiences over there. But why stay here? Can we answer that, do you think?
Yeah, I think we can. Because also in my life, since 21 years old, actually, the first time I tried to commit suicide, I was 9 years old.
Oh, right, so you tried to commit suicide at 9?
Yeah.
That's how much pain you was in as a child?
Yeah. I was really, really in a bad way. And there was a lot of awful things happening. And I got one of those, back in the day, we used to have these white wire curtain wires. And I found one of those, tied it around my neck, tied it on the handle of the door. And we had a balcony, and I hung myself over the balcony. My mother caught me and, of course, told me off, and I got a smack and all that. So, I terrified her doing it, but I just, I didn't want to live. As a child, I didn't want to live. So I had so much fear. I had massive amount of fear. I had a out-of-body experience. I was a bit older, I was about 24, and I'd gone downstairs, and the curtains were open, and I looked out, and I just saw a huge, big, black blob, like the living representation of fear, and it was moving around the planet, and I was terrified. And this was my fear. It's all mine. I don't see that as actually what's happening.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
For anyone else. But that was my personal experience of my own fear. And it's come to me in many scary ways. I've had to deal with lots of scary stuff. And hence, I probably tried to commit suicide 10 times or more. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
then this is
yeah,
this is leading up to why you had the near death experience as well, because it was telling you really that you need to stay here. So so
yeah,
so you had a lot of so so this fear that you was feeling growing up, it was fear from a lot of abuse, a lot of I mean, I don't want to say these words if they're not true. I'm saying these words for you.
yeah. Okay, well, other people were having arguments and fighting, and I had this evil stepfather who has taken me 50 years to forgive and have some kind of even, balanced communication with. I'm still doing it. I'm still
Right,
forgiving. I'm still moving on.
right.
It's it's like, why do I keep making it mean something negative? All my fear has brought me to this incredible understanding of life. I'm really grateful for it,
Yeah,
and
that
I'm
that's
glad it happened.
that's a
You know,
that's a great way to be able to come from with this. So maybe I'll take the word abuse back, because that's not what we're talking about here. I mean, abuse is in many forms, isn't it? We don't know, just physical or mental.
sure,
There's all, loads of forms. But yes, he was one of your greatest teachers. Let's give him that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, and various other people that I've known through life, and you know, we the Dalai Lama said, "Your enemy is your best friend." And when I first heard that, I think I read his book when I was in my 20s or something, one of his books. And he said that, and I couldn't understand it. And, it's actually taken me a long time to learn what that means, because
Yeah.
enemies, for me, have actually been the incredible people in my life that have moved me on. But it's hard to move on from fear. You keep It's like people in abusive relationships, they leave them, but then they keep going back. I've done it myself.
Oh
I've done
yes.
it myself. Left somebody and gone back 8 times, or I can't remember how many times, but so many times until you go, okay, I seriously need to move on.
Or
Bang.
come back into your power, that you don't need anybody, that your best friend is you, your your everything is you. I'm not saying we don't need a partner. I'm not saying it's not nice to share, right, and everything that else that
Sure.
goes with that, right. I'm just saying that, shit, man, you've got to be able to love yourself first before you can love anybody else.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. I mean, I can't sit here and say I love myself, but I can sit here and say I love my spirit. My spirit is I'm so happy to have witnessed that. Um, and I can't really call it mine, because can we really own anything? I don't think so.
No.
It's just part of the whole big deal.
Right.
With
So going back to what we were saying then,
mm,
in the sense of why do why is it worthwhile staying here rather than wanting to rush back home from this
yeah.
idyllic paradise we're talking about? What's your answer to that?
Well, for a start, I felt really ashamed of myself for not realizing my real authentic self. I didn't know who I was until I had the near death experience. However, to actually kill myself would be something that, once I was out of my body, I'd be really disappointed that I did that. I just know that for myself. I absolutely cannot speak for other people. I oh, I've got another little aside. I lived with somebody for 20 years, and he was really sick. He had the AIDS virus, and he had he was epileptic, and he had um, when you can't stop bleeding. I can't remember what it's
Oh
called.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hemophilia.
Right. Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he was a very sick person. He was a wonderful person, and he was just a really good friend. And we ended up sharing a house and doing all sorts of crazy things, fixing boats and uh, going sailing and all sorts of adventures. But he got really sick in the last 10 years, and he did kill himself. And I was so disappointed. I was, he'd actually tried to kill himself a few times, and I was there and I stopped him. And every time he got really mad at me, don't come near me, leave me alone. I'm doing what I want to do. And I was like, no, 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 you can't. You can't. It's the wrong way. And I was always trying to keep him here. And he didn't have, we're talking about somebody who's really run ragged emotionally, physically, the whole thing. And but a very good soul person. And yeah, he really was kind of my family. We weren't ever a couple, but I kind of adopted him. I don't know.
That's beautiful.
And then when he was sick, I kind of became his caregiver, and I was his mum, and I make dinner and do the washing, and the more sick he got, anyway. So I became a kind of full-time caregiver because of this person. And so I said to him, well, this pretty serious health condition you're in. I said, but whoever dies first we have to come back and say hello to the other person. So if I kick the bucket, I'm going to try and appear. So he goes, okay, I'll do it too. Anyway, he did die. He swam out to sea on his surfboard. He was a very physical, healthy kind of person. Never really drank or smoked or anything. He was a good guy. And so he went out on his surfboard and he was lost for nearly 3 weeks. And I knew he was gone. I knew. And but it was quite a disturbing time for me to suddenly not be able to have my friend around, And the police were looking for him, and they did eventually find the body. And but he appeared to me one afternoon, not long after, and I was just, I was upset. I was probably, feeling pretty crummy at this time, and I was sitting there on the couch, just going, "Oh my God, what am I going to do?" Because it meant my whole life was going to now change. I had to move out of the house. There was heaps to do. I had a little dog. There was a whole heap of stuff, and not easy when you're suddenly alone like that. And
No, not at all. Not at all.
this orangey light started to appear in front of me, and it was like the most beautiful tangerine color. Just something's come on the screen and just and I was like, wow, what's this? And then it just got more and more vivid, and it was like that beautiful, rich tangerine, vivid orange color. And in the middle of it, he started to appear. And how I knew it was him, I recognized the clothes straight away. Those were the clothes he died in. And I know those clothes because I bought that jumper for him. It was made of possum wool, so it was really soft and fluffy. And he was wearing his jeans and his boots, and I was like, and then I could see him, and he went, Yaz, I did it. I'm out. I made it. It's so everything's okay. And he's waving and laughing. And I went, because every time some drama happens, I always say, right, that's it. I'm going to make a cup of tea. And I made a cup of tea.
Classic.
And I walked out the room. I just wasn't like,
Yeah.
you can't be ready.
Yeah.
You're just never ready.
Yeah. That's classic. I love it. I love it. But that was for you. But did he ever come to see you again, or was it just that once?
No, it was just that one.
Just that once. Yeah. Yeah. What did that do for you? What did that do for your faith at that moment? Because you had this near-death experience. You knew that you were unconditional love. What did that do for you in the sense of why we shouldn't do these things then?
Well, this is the difficulty. In his situation, he did a brilliant thing because he was basically in a state of waiting to die. His body was going to pieces, absolutely. I mean, I will not tell you the details, but he's getting in such a state.
Yeah.
So for him, he was terrified to die, but what he did was he confronted it head on. So in his case, he confronted his death, like a samurai warrior would, in that way. So I just saw it like that, and I saw that as kind of a profound and sacred act on his behalf. I can't, I mean, I loved him dearly, like family. So I cannot have any.
Hmm.
I won't allow myself to project anything negative on that situation.
No, no.
And you can't judge other people. I can't really. With
Well,
no,
well, maybe that's what it taught you as well. Maybe it taught you not to judge.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
maybe it
I
taught you
can't.
taught you not to judge. I mean, it's a beautiful story you've shared there, and I'm sure he's with you whenever he is, and I'm sure you guys have dealt with a lot of karma. Maybe you guys had,
Yeah,
you know. So you couldn't do anything higher than what you did there, which was to be a caregiver and to be a giver of love, which is what you did. Um, yeah, I mean, we can have the life we want, can't we? That's the thing in this reality. That's one thing that the near deaths all kind of say to me as well. Is that you don't if your life isn't the way you want it right now, you
mm,
can turn it round. You have the power. You had the power all the way along, and I have to remind myself that a lot of times. Like when things aren't going so great, I'm like, oh, hang on, I've created this reality. This is me. This is me,
yeah,
right? But then when it's someone that's as unhealthy, that's in his situation. I mean, everything's different, isn't
mhm.
it? So you cannot judge. I
No,
can't say what I'm saying now is going to work for everyone, but maybe on the people that are
oh,
listening to this right now that are on the same soul level as me, then maybe
yeah,
that's who it's helping. Maybe.
yeah.
Um,
Well, in
yeah.
his case, he got his virus from a blood transfusion
Wow.
from a hospital in Mackay in Australia, and in 1983, and he lived with that for years and years. He killed himself in 2008. And so I've just been like, it'll be 9 years this year, and
God. God.
his birthday's 2 days after mine. So and he killed himself the weekend after our birthday. So like, I'm
Not
going to
easy.
be with yeah,
Yeah.
like we have to make peace. And we can't make peace if we're judging.
No. No.
It's just
No.
doesn't work.
No. Absolutely not. Just going back to your near death experience, when you came out, you didn't get so you remember coming back into your body.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, but when I was in the golden light, so and I saw and understood everything, like, and I think everybody will experience that at some stage. It's the closest description to it is when people talk about nirvana. And you can apparently attain that through meditative practice, but I personally haven't been able to do that yet. But yet, maybe. But I'm not exactly a brilliant practitioner. I mean, in fact, I always refer to myself as the worst student of life that ever lived, to be quite honest. I'm a terror.
Well, well, I don't know about that, but that's been a bit hard. But yeah,
I know,
yeah, yeah.
but I'm a slow learner,
Same here.
really.
Same here.
I was terrible.
Yeah.
My teachers at school used to go mad at me, but I had to develop a pretty sharp sense of humour
Yes.
to overcome a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
No. Absolutely. Absolutely. And
yeah.
oh gosh, so you never got you was never greeted by anyone on your near death experience. It wasn't like that. No.
No,
But
it was just like everything. But
but
in the distance, in that golden light, appeared this pure. I can describe it as a white light, but it wasn't white exactly. It's like a diamond, It's just a pure light, and this other light was like I just was like, oh, I have to get to that light, and I was like, oh, how do I fly again? I was
mm,
trying to work out,
mm,
am I
mm.
flying? What am I swimming?
Yeah.
And put my arms out in front of me, and there were just these brilliant rainbows. I was just made of rainbow light. It's just incredible. I was just in this love. I cannot explain. It's so beautiful. And I started to move towards this this white light, diamond light. And the energy coming from that was just the purest love of all. I mean, that was oh, it's just so incredibly beautiful compared to this already beautiful condition I was in. And and a big voice called out, "It's not your time."
Yeah.
I went, no, and I just kept trying to. I wasn't listening to the voice, and it came again. It's not your time, and it was like booming around the whole universe. I mean, it was just the biggest, loudest voice you ever heard, and I felt myself just start to fall, like a million miles an hour, falling, falling. I knew I was falling back to earth, like David Bowie.
Yep. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
And then, bang! I was back in my body, and I woke up. And the nurse, one of the nurses bending over me, she was crying, and she went, "Oh my God, we thought we lost you." And I said, "Oh, I don't want to be here." And then I passed out.
Did you tell? I mean, how many people did you initially tell the story to in your family? Did you get to tell many, or was
No,
it
no one.
no, no one?
No.
When did you first realize that you had a near death experience?
Well, yeah, actually, after that, I had to have like loads of blood given to me and everything, and I think I was out for 2 days, and then I was woken up, and I was just so weak, and but then I remembered, and I was so happy. And I was trying to tell the nurses in the hospital, and they were like, "Yeah, yeah, you're all right," and they just thought I was nutty little fruitcake. I'm used to being called nutty.
Or some of them had heard that story before.
Oh, well, yeah, I think back in that time of things, people were very, very closed, you know.
Okay, but then, well, yeah, but you never know, do you?
Well,
You never know. Had they heard something similar? Other people, maybe.
yeah,
But yeah, it's
people
yeah, it's different
talk
now.
so openly,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah. That is
It
true.
was, I was actually told by someone, and I can't remember who the heck it was, to not mention this sort of thing to other people, could end up getting locked up, you know. And I
Yeah,
was like, oh my God, ooh,
yeah.
help. Yeah,
Look how different it
but
is now. Now you're on a talk show
I
that's
know,
going across the internet.
crazy, ooh,
Yeah. Now,
spooky.
now you're talking about it, and you've been on other programs, and you've been in a book as well. What book was you featured in for this story?
Oh yeah. Well, me and several other people are in Jodie Long's. I don't know if you can see it, but it's called God's Fingerprints: Impressions of Near-Death Experiences, edited by Jodie Long.
Okay,
So
okay. We're putting that on
she's
the screen now. Yes, we're putting that on the screen
oh
now. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So okay. So you know, when was it? I mean, do you feel as soon as you came back into your body and you remembered the experience, do you feel that from that point, from having the near death experience to the person you were before, do you think you were slowly transforming yourself then to transform the fear, to learn to let go of the past, and to really help heal you?
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. And but problem with me is I've always wanted to talk about my near-death experience. I've always wanted to share. I've had loads of kind of spiritual experiences. I've wanted to share my authentic self, but who am I sharing it with? You know, in a world that's so judgmental, has, you know, I mean, it's all been too dangerous because there have been times in the past where I've opened up to various people and they've wanted to kill me, you know. So I
Yeah,
know what it's like to be
yeah,
threatened, to have your
yeah.
life threatened.
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
but you'll know when it's the right people that you can open up to, and
yeah,
but
yeah,
by doing what you're doing now, sharing your story, this story will resonate with your soul group out there. Because I'm
yeah,
coming to this understanding, which I don't really understand. This is just I'm kind of making up this understanding, but it's how I perceive it, which is maybe true, that we are all resonating with our own soul group in a way, and
absolutely.
yeah, and awakening our soul group on our level. We're not here to awaken everyone. We're
Mm,
here to just be our authentic selves, and part of your authentic self is this experience. And who knows, Christ, in 100 years, if someone's watching this interview, that'd be weird, isn't it? If in 100 years someone's watching us back, but me even saying that, they probably are right now.
Yeah,
So if in 100 years you're watching this, right, if this video survives the internet, yeah, then
yeah.
this story is as valid in 100 years as it is now, because that your soul group will still be there in the future,
Oh,
incarnating down here properly, and trying to remember what the hell this is all about and why they came here.
well, I saw that we didn't actually have to die. So how's about that? But I never wrote it in my story. But I saw that we just don't actually have to die. But because we're not living in real harmony, even if we're like vegans or whatever, doesn't matter. We still not. We have to be able to do it as a whole group, a whole family, have to work together. Family of life, the human family. When they reach the stage of actually working together instead of all this conflict rubbish, then we can transform. It's just there waiting at our fingertips. We can actually transform this whole physicality into something even more profound and better. So we're not stuck. But we are at the moment,
So,
unfortunately.
you're remembering bits here so there was more that happened in this near-death experience that will probably, if we were to do a longer interview, it'll probably come out. But there's bits you don't always, I suppose you're remembering bits that you need to remember at this time. But yeah, yeah. Mm,
Yeah, there's so much more to the material world, because like the whole of creation, the whole of the universe is all made by the same thing. So there's no difference between anything, and it's eternal. There's no doubt about it. So, and when you leave your body, you see this eternity of everything, and that there's no difference between life and death. There's actually no death. We leave this physical body, but I think eventually that as a group consciousness, we will transform, and we will, can I use the word ascend without sounding like we're going up? We're not really going anywhere, because it's just all a big simultaneous bubble and
yeah.
everything's happening all at the same time. So, but consciousness has to, being in the body means we're going slowly. Having a physical form means you have to have time. So you are subject to time.
Yeah.
But the more our minds expand, the more
Mm,
we can go beyond
mm,
time.
mm.
And so, yeah, it's like all these atoms are all the same atoms. They just come into different forms. It's just like endless. It's a recycling process of awareness, and our awareness is growing with each lifetime.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was 7, I heard about a thing called karma, and I said to my mum, I said, I really want to have all my bad karma in this life so that I can get rid of it and have a good life. Hell, I didn't know that was actually going to happen.
It does seem to me that you've been working on yourself a lot. Yeah, working on your karma. Yeah, it would seem to be that way. But you're happy, right? You're happy.
Yeah, I'm happy
Yeah, I
inside.
can see
I'm
that.
always,
I can see that. You're
and
a lovely person.
because it's in me, but it's in
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah,
It's in you.
yeah,
That same happiness, even when
yeah.
I mean, I shed a tear as well a couple of nights ago for the Manchester bombing thing. I mean, it really affects me when people die, children, for crying out loud. This is crazy. It's the worst thing in the world to harm a child. It's just the most terrible, terrible karma for the people doing that stuff. They're the ones we need to actually be, obviously killing innocent people. Those people, the spirit of those people is full of forgiveness. But the one doing the terrible thing, that person is going to feel so dreadful. They're not going to be saying, wow, they're going, here I am in the loving light. They're going to be saying, oh no, what was I thinking? Why did I do such a stupid thing and hurt someone? Because I had a life review. I was only 21, but that life review was like an eternity, because I re-experienced every single moment, every thought of my life and everyone around me. You know, I mean,
Well, I didn't even know you had a live review. See, that's just popped in there. We would have left the near-death experience, and you've just remembered that. That's so cool. You had a live review. Oh my God, wow! And
yeah,
you got to feel what others felt like when you did good and bad things to them.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
God, what was that felt?
And
What was that like?
it's your intention. I felt sometimes we do a good thing, like you might be tired and somebody's there and you're like, oh, would you like a cup of tea? But in your mind, you're going, oh, bloomin' heck, I
Yes,
can't be
yes,
bothered.
yes.
That really hurt, you know. When you say, I'm really going to do something nice for this person, I'm gonna make them a cup of tea, do it wholeheartedly. Even just the littlest things makes all the difference to your life review.
Well, in that life review, then let's just stick with a cup of tea because that's a good example, right? Can the other person, so the other person, when you do feel that negative way towards them, that oh, do they really want it? Um, which I've done
Yeah, they
before.
do.
They feel that
It goes
energy.
straight into them. It goes,
Uh,
when we think something unpleasant about another person, it goes straight into them and it hurts them, and they don't know and you don't know, but we're all hurting each other all the time.
so it's hurting them on a level we don't can't use on words, but it's hurting them on a level that it's energy, an energy level. Even we could put it down to that, because that
Yeah.
right. What if
Like
yeah.
we
So
can't even think bad things about bad people. We can't afford to waste
what
our
what what
energy.
what does that do in the life review? What does that do to the to you as a soul? I mean, what's that? Yeah, what does that do to? So if you're making a cup, let's keep it simple, right? Making a cup of tea, you're like, oh, I don't really want to make it for you. Hope they bloody say no, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
right. But okay, okay, and then that's hitting them on some sort of a soul level, right? That
yeah.
negative thought. Well, what's that doing to your progress then, and why does it matter?
Yeah, it just means that you're going to have to work so much harder. You're going to have to like try harder to be better, because whatever you do comes back to you worse.
Yeah, but okay, so
Worse.
it comes back. What you're saying? It comes back to in this incarnation, in this
Oh,
physical.
well, this is a subject that's a big subject. Timing. Timing is, who knows what timing is when it comes to karma, because, I mean, I did ask, don't ask me when I was 7, give me all my negative karma because I want to get over it. Thank you.
Wow. Yes.
I've changed my mind. No,
Yeah. Yeah. Can I take that back? Wow.
too late.
Yeah.
But no, so something really bad could have happened to me in this life, and it has. Trust me, I've been through some bad stuff that I may have created from a life long before, because who knows how many lives a person has had and how much damage or bad karma one's created for oneself and other people. You see, it's not just we.
So you're saying when something, if something was to fall on your head, maybe you chucked something at someone else's head in a past life,
Totally,
as
totally.
a really silly example, right? But then what about these people, law of attraction people, that say you can have the life you want now? You can have the life you want. So you're saying one hand, okay, that's happened because of karma, but that's still
Yeah.
okay, but that can't put
Okay.
you off having the life you want now, can it?
Well, the thing is about human beings, they're always full of this word, I want, I want, I want, I want, I want. So when you when you get rid of want and you start to learn what it means to just be, then things calm down. When we the fact that we're alive today means we've done a hell of a lot. Anyone on this planet today has been crying out loud. I mean, it's unbelievable. The length of in what I saw when I was out of my body was I saw the planet, right? And I saw people. It was like a movie. I saw people walking around the planet, looking down. When you're looking down, you're missing it. You're just missing the point of the being, really being here with an open heart, an open mind. Now, you can get over karma by doing positive things. You can negate your karma. There are ways. You can do it through yogic practices and meditative practices. There's also, for anyone who's a serious seeker who wants to understand workings of the universe, they will find ways to deal with stuff. But I'm not going to sit here and say that I know anything in particular. Now, I know myself. I drew a picture once, and it took 2 weeks, and we were living in the picture because I drew a picture of a house, and bang, it came true.
Law of attraction.
Is it law of attraction, or was I just seeing a future event?
Maybe, could be, but or is the imagination so much more powerful than the actual physical reality?
Absolutely. The imagination's where it's at, baby. That's kind of how it is. The imagination is the creator of reality.
So this reality that I've got right now, it may not be the one I want, but in my imagination, I have to say that's the one that I want. This is the one that feels so amazing, and that's the one I'm going to pull into this reality now. Well, not straight away, but you're pulling it in. It's in the imagination. This is what I want. I'm imagining. I've got my eyes closed right now. I'm imagining what I want in this. It's not here now, which makes it difficult. It's not in the physical,
Yeah.
but that's where you're going to pull it from. Just like anything's imagined, isn't it? Everything's brought from imagination.
We can manifest a glass of water or a gin and tonic, right? That's a glass of water, and who can afford gin and tonic? But and we can have it, right? Because the thing is, we haven't developed our real selves enough. Our authentic self understands everything. This mere shadow of my real self doesn't get it. I just, I need to manifest money. Who doesn't? Money. Like, I've got no money. I need to manifest. I'm absolutely hopeless at manifesting money, but I can manifest a flight on a plane. I can manifest dinner. I can manifest somewhere to stay, but I just can't seem to manifest any money. But am I manifesting it, or is it just happening? Are we in charge of reality? Are we really in charge of it? I don't think so, because I don't think we have developed that much yet. I mean, there are people who...
So why is it so unfair then, if that was the case, that others can have the wealth and everything because they're doing what they love, and you do what you love, and it doesn't create the wealth?
Yeah.
I just want to speak to this unfair God. That's sort of just if we can connect with him.
Yeah. You have to love it in a detach. It's about detachment, isn't it?
Yes, that's what I'm trying to get to. I think that's it.
When we're clinging to anything,
Yes.
if I say, right, I'm just addicted to water, I've got to have it every day. The exact opposite will happen everywhere I go. The taps will be broken. There will be no water supply. I know it every time I say something.
You have to let go. Is that what you're saying? You have to let go.
Yeah, because the more you want, the more you're pushing it away. So,
are you pushing your wealth away?
Oh yeah.
Because you want it so bad.
No, I've given up now.
Oh, good.
No, I've given up. But the thing is about that, I've had times when people have given me money or I've earned good money.
Yes.
But not for a long time. But I'm not. I don't even think about money these days. I'm just sort of. I offer to do things for free all the time, and that works. But interestingly, for me, the people that I connect with, they all help me in so many ways. So it's not necessarily about the folding cash, is it? It's about a rich life and has definitely got a very rich life. In fact, I'm so rich that people have accused me of being a millionaire.
Well, yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think it's that's part of the truth here between us is that what I've learned as well is that if you want to generate wealth, then you have to do something you love, but be detached from the outcome, and by doing
Yeah,
that which you love, it just flows anyway. It just
cool.
flows. And
Yeah,
I mean, whether I'm saying something to you that's not been the way, or whether you've not wanted it to be that way, or you've come here for different experiences, maybe. Do you know
yeah,
we're all here for different reasons, aren't we? In some respects.
absolutely, absolutely, and that's why I do the I Ching.
That's right. Let's get to that because we have talked so much. We're now 1 hour into this interview, and
Oh
I
my
didn't.
God.
I know, right? And we didn't even get to right. There's so much we're not going to get to talk about here, right? But
Yeah.
thank you for everything you've shared so far. So, how did you get into the I Ching? Yeah, and what can you do with the I Ching?
Okay, well, oh, I love the I Ching, and like, I mean, I was a bit worried about it when I was young. I found a friend of mine showed me it when I was about, I think I was either 15, 16, or 17, but at this stage of the game, who cares? I don't know. I was young, and I just thought, oh, yeah, well, and miss terrified of every blooming thing. So anyway, but it was in my life. My friend used it, and I started looking at it and started to play with it, and then years later, I was married for some strange reason. I was actually married once. Amazing. And when I was married, one of the books we had was the I Ching, and I started to use it. And so it's come into my life on various occasions. And in 1989, a good friend of mine in Australia bought me this particular book, and I really started using it a hell of a lot. And I've just had the most wonderful time with it. I mean, I'm not a clever person at all, but I'm a very intuitive person, and well, I don't even know if I should use that word, but I get a feeling or a sense, and I just have this friendly relationship with the I Ching, and it's just been something that's been a constant source of friendship for me in my life, and I used to do it like for every single thing, So I used to throw the coins. Got these coins, little coins. I've got some big ones too. But like these are really ancient, these ones. My friend bought them for me. So they were black when I got them.
And where do these coins come from? What how does the I Ching work?
Yeah.
Where are
You
they
get,
from?
you get these little coins. Oh, they're from China. They're from ancient China. So these are like, who knows? Don't know how old they are, but they're really old. And you have three of them. And yeah, you shake them up and throw them six times, and it gives you an arrangement of lines, six lines, one, two, three, four, going up. And it's always hard to explain how it works. But how it really works is like, so when the person asks a question or no question, personally, I like it when people don't ask questions because the I Ching just seems to say the right thing. Um, And fair enough, many other things could also be work like that and say the right thing to the person at the right time. But with the I Ching, I just find it more, more. For me, it's more. It's sort of, I mean, it comes from ancient China. On the on the back of the book, which was this is a very popular one, translated by Richard Wilhelm, and he went into China to get all the Chinese to become Christians because he was one of these Christian people that, what do you call them? Anyway, they go around the world converting people.
Yeah,
he didn't
yeah.
he didn't convert anybody. Instead, he started studying Chinese um, thought. So, and he discovered the I Ching and became very, very interested in it, and ended up doing this translation. So, anyway, it's 5,000 years old, 12,000 years old. There's many different people speculate about the age of the I Ching. It is actually the oldest book on earth, and many people like Alexander the Great, uh, Hitler, and various other people have tried to destroy all these wisdom books that we've, you know, I mean, the I Ching is one of them, but there's a whole lot of information that people haven't got because it's been destroyed by the big fat controllers, you know, from Thomas the Tank Engine. Yeah,
Yeah.
the fat controllers. But okay, well, they can't be fat, no. The skinny
The
control,
skinny, yeah,
whoever.
yeah. Well, well, okay. So when someone's going to get a reading with yourself, then how does that work? So they won't. So they could send questions in, or they don't have to send questions in, but you will give them an I Ching reading, which will be. Can that be over the phone, or can that be by email?
Oh, both. Absolutely. Yeah, I love to do it either talking to the person. Um, yeah, actually, that works really well. I love doing that. You know, because we get a thing going, and so loads of stuff comes out, and but at the same time, I don't like the other person to talk very much, and also sometimes I don't like the person to speak at all. So, but I get a sense when I'm talking to them. You know, I do everything I do is how it feels. I just
So when you're giving someone an I Ching reading, I mean, yeah, you could. What's the normal sort of time to give someone an I Ching reading? Is that if you're going to do it over the phone? Is that half an hour or an hour?
oh no, normally an hour, but to be honest, I've never really been able to be very good with the timekeeping because it tends to go on,
Yes.
and so yeah, I mean we all have these great ideas. It's going to be an hour or 45 minutes or hour and a
Right.
half, but I you never know because it's just I devote my time as, to the
Right.
person.
Right.
I can completely concentrate on that person, and then it just seems to work. So that's how I do. I put myself aside,
Okay.
and I'm completely present for the other person.
Okay.
So
Very
yeah,
interesting. Okay, well, if you do want to get a reading with Yaz, then obviously just go to morechoice.com/Yaz, and there's many ways to book her on there as well. So that's fast. I mean, your near. I mean, I think your near-death experience opened you up spiritually to allow you to do these type of readings as well.
oh yeah,
Yeah, most definitely.
oh
Um,
yeah,
Okay, well, look, I just want to say, Yaz, I left probably a few questions out here because there is just so much that we could have talked about, and you've graciously give us an hour and 10 minutes of your time here as well for this interview. So, just very finally, what would you say is a
my
really
pleasure.
important? Yeah, no, thank you. What would you say is a really important message of that from what you've been through, what you've gone through with a near death experience that maybe would be just a final brief message for the audience?
Yeah, try to find a way to be happy. Just try and find that way, and don't let fear get too big. You know, a good practice is when something scary comes up, just see it really, really small. Put loads of space around it. Make it teeny weeny. Don't make
Absolutely.
it like, oh, great big fear. No, it is really, really small.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, look, Yaz Star, just thank you so, so much for joining us today.
Pleasure. Thank you, Kevin.
Well, we've come to an end on today's show. Don't forget that you can listen and watch all our past interviews on the More Show's official YouTube channel. Remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel for new daily shows. You may also find out more on all past and upcoming guests by going to themoreshow.com, and do like us on Facebook and Twitter for the latest updates. So until next time, be safe.
My name is Courtney Amundsen, and I offer private channeled readings to help you to connect with your soul and your divine purpose. You see, it's so beautiful because what I'm offering is to help you to step into your empowerment and your inner teacher, your inner divinity. And this is such a beautiful experience because it's coming home to your true self. It's unveiling what already is you. And in this place, you can live in guidance, you can live in freedom, you can live in your authenticity. So if this calls to you, you can book a reading with me at morechoice.com/Courtney. So thank you so much, and I hope that you join me soon.